Hey everyone, she's 18 now and done playing the nice girl game. Shiloh Jolie-Pitt, daughter of Brad Pitt, and Angelina Jolie just dropped a bombshell that's shaking up Hollywood. After years of rumors, legal battles, and sealed documents, Shiloh has finally broken her silence about the infamous 2016 plane incident. And what she's saying is completely changing the public narrative. With this shocking move, she's rewriting the family story, and Brad's name is right at the center of the controversy. The divorce between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie has just gotten more complicated than ever. Nearly a decade has passed, yet the couple who first met as co-stars in Mr. and Mrs. Smith still make headlines for all the wrong reasons. The latest development centers around none other than their daughter Shiloh Jolie-Pitt. From now on, we'll have to call her Shiloh Jolie, as the 18-year-old has made it clear she's had enough of her father. Shiloh, daughter of two of Hollywood's biggest stars, is now at the center of a legal storm marking her independence with a move that's shaking the entertainment world. On her 18th birthday, the day most teenage girls celebrate their coming of age, Shiloh made a bold statement without saying a word. The entertainment industry woke up to the news that Shiloh had hired her own lawyer to help legally change her name. By petitioning to drop the Pitt from her name, she made it clear she wants to be known simply as Shiloh Jolie. This act isn't just a simple legal formality. It speaks volumes of a fractured relationship and a desire to redefine herself. So how did Brad Pitt react? Just 1 week after Shiloh, his 18-year-old daughter with Angelina Jolie, filed to drop his last name, a family insider told the press Brad is aware and saddened by this decision. He has never felt greater joy than the day Shiloh was born. He always dreamed of having a daughter. Now, being reminded that he's lost his children is painful. It's not easy for Brad. He loves his kids deeply and misses them dearly. Although reportedly happy in his current relationship with Inez de Ramon, the growing distance from his children still hurts him. But why did Shiloh make such a bold move? Is there something darker going on behind the scenes? Drop a 1 in the comments if you want to know more about how this story unfolds. In 2020, while the world was engulfed by a pandemic, another storm was brewing within Hollywood's most fractured family. Brad Pitt may have won an Oscar that year, but he also walked straight into a tempest stirred by his own son. On Father's Day 2020, Maddox, Jolie-Pitt, Brad, and Angelina's eldest son shocked social media with a post that felt less like a tribute and more like a declaration of war. He shared a photo of Brad holding his Oscar for Best Supporting Actor captioned "Ruthless, Relentless, Personal." Happy Father's Day to this world-class human being. Time and time again, you prove yourself to be a terrible, despicable person. You show no care, no empathy for your 4 young children who tremble in fear when you're near. You've made the lives of those closest to you a living hell. You may deceive yourself and the world, but the truth will come out someday. So happy Father's Day to this awful, damnable human being. The post ignited social media like wildfire. Harsh indeed. But for those closely following the Jolie-Pitt divorce, it was the eruption of a long, smoldering volcano. At the heart of the rift lies the infamous 2016 private plane incident, the moment many believe marked the true beginning of Brad's downfall as a father. On a flight that stopped at International Falls Airport in Minnesota, Brad and Maddox, then 15 years old, reportedly had a tense and emotional confrontation. Although security footage from the airport exists, it has never been made public. A source who claimed to have seen the video said Brad was seen yelling intensely, but there was no physical contact. However, the psychological impact was immediate and devastating. After that moment, Maddox began to quickly distance himself. Reports suggest he rejected his father, telling friends he no longer considered himself Brad's son. Someone close to Angelina revealed Maddox is very close to his mother. He no longer sees himself as Brad's son. He doesn't want anything to do with him. Despite everything, Angelina tried to mend the relationship in 2019. She reportedly encouraged father and son to talk, but Maddox refused. From Brad's side, the response was pure heartbreak. It was a huge loss, a source close to the actor said. Maddox wouldn't accept it, and for Brad, that was truly cruel. Things hit rock bottom in 2021. Amid the fierce and prolonged custody battle between Brad and Angelina Maddox, now a legal adult is reported to have testified against his father. According to sources, his testimony was far from gentle. They also note that he stopped using the last name Pitt on personal documents, preferring the name Maddox Jolie instead. Although he expressed a desire to officially change his name, sources say Angelina does not support this move despite their close relationship. By 2022, it seemed Brad had reached his breaking point. He made one final effort to reconnect. On Maddox's 21st birthday, Brad sent him a gift and a handwritten letter, his last offer of peace. But the response was silence. They used to be very close, a source shared. Not just father and son, they had a real intellectual bond. Brad thinks about Maddox every day. He still hopes, but it might be too late. It's not just Maddox slamming the door on Brad Pitt. His sisters are walking through it too. After years of tension and emotional distance, it seems each of Brad's children is choosing sides, and it's not his. First up is Zahara Marley Jolie, who made a quiet yet powerful statement in 2023 during a sorority induction ceremony, a video of which went viral online. In the footage, she confidently introduced herself with flair and without any trace of her father's last name. "My name is Zahara Marley Jolie," she proudly announced, flipping her hair and performing the signature steps of her new sisterhood. "I'm from the Golden State, the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. I'm number 7 in this line." The message was loud and clear. Brad Pitt is no longer part of the story. No Pitt here anymore. Next is Vivienne Jolie Brad and Angelina's youngest daughter. In 2024, she made a subtle yet symbolic break. While working on The Outsiders, a Broadway musical co-produced by her mother, Vivienne appeared in the official playbill not as Vivienne Jolie-Pitt, but simply as Vivienne Jolie. She was just 15 years old, but her choice echoed the moves of her older siblings. Another child, another Pitt gone. Brad once proudly fathered 6 children united under one famous last name. Now, as each child steps into adulthood, that name is being quietly dropped one by one. So what caused 4 of the 6 Jolie-Pitt children to turn their backs on Brad? There are 2 theories, but one of them is truly chilling. According to a shocking revelation that rocked Hollywood, Angelina, Jolie may have orchestrated a calculated campaign to turn her children against their father. This accusation doesn't come from tabloids or anonymous sources. It comes from someone who has been inside the family for 2 decades. Tony Webb, a former elite British military officer turned private security expert, has filed a bombshell declaration. In it, he claims that Angelina instructed the children to avoid seeing Brad Pitt during scheduled custody visits. This was not a vague suggestion, but reportedly a direct order. If true, it reveals a deliberate effort to sabotage the father-child relationship in the highly publicized custody battle. Webb's allegations add an entirely new layer of mystery to an already emotionally charged case. What gives his testimony real weight isn't just what he says, but who he is. Tony Webb isn't just a hired bodyguard. He was the family's chief protector, entrusted with ensuring their safety and privacy for over 20 years. His role ranged from guarding their international travels to managing sensitive information under strict NDA agreements. He was there through their most vulnerable and turbulent moments and witnessed it all firsthand. According to Webb, Jolie's alleged behavior during custody exchanges was just part of a broader effort to isolate Brad from his children. If these claims are true, they could have a significant impact not only on custody rulings, but also on how the world views one of Hollywood's most powerful women. Webb's background is impressive. He served in the British Royal Navy and the elite Special Air Service SAS before moving into private security. And for 2 decades, his job was clear: to keep Angelina Jolie and her family safe, discreet, and out of the spotlight. But now he's the one bringing everything to light. Is this a mother protecting her children or manipulating them? The battle lines within the Jolie-Pitt family have just grown much darker. If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, let me know with a 0. I truly appreciate your feedback. According to Tony Webb, after Brad and Angelina separated in 2016, his security company, SRS Global, continued to provide personal protection for Jolie and her children. It was during this post-separation period that Webb says he became aware of something concerning direct instructions from Jolie for her children to avoid spending time with their father during custody visits. In a sworn court declaration, Webb recounted a specific and troubling incident. He alleged that Michael Vieira, Angelina Jolie's assistant, approached him with a request that crossed the line, asking him to prevent 2 of his independent contractors from testifying in the family court trial. Mr. Vieira asked me to stop these 2 individuals from testifying, Webb stated in legal documents. It was clear to me he was making this request on behalf of Ms. Jolie. Vieira reportedly reminded Webb that the 2 contractors had signed strict non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, and warned that legal action could be taken if they chose to testify. But Webb pushed back, explaining that he had no authority to stop them because they were independent contractors, not employees of SRS Global. That's when Vieira allegedly doubled down. His message wasn't just a warning, it was a threat cloaked in legal language: testify and be sued. Webb said Vieira wanted him to make sure the contractors remembered their NDAs and understood the consequences if they spoke in court about what they had witnessed. One of the 2 contractors, Ross Foster, was undeterred. If subpoenaed, he was ready to testify, even if it meant violating the NDA. Foster reportedly told Webb that he overheard Jolie instructing her children to avoid their father during custody visits. He was prepared to go on the record. Ross Foster made it clear. Webb testified that if called upon, he would speak about what he heard. Jolie encouraged her children to avoid their father. Webb relayed the warning to both individuals, and they reportedly stood firm. Foster's willingness to break confidentiality if subpoenaed suggests that what he heard wasn't just casual talk, it was serious. If proven true, these revelations could change everything. Jolie's alleged manipulation could have serious legal consequences, especially in custody rulings. Judges tend to take a very hard line against parents who intentionally influence children negatively against the other parent. Worse still, their children were nearby, and some reportedly witnessed or overheard the argument. 2 of the children were said to be crying outside the door. One child reportedly tried to intervene, which only escalated Pitt's anger. Jolie claimed that Pitt lunged toward the child and she had to physically restrain him. The report further stated that Pitt later choked one child and struck another. The cabin turned into a chaotic scene as the children tried to protect each other. Jolie reported sustaining injuries and submitted a photo of her bruised elbow to the FBI. The turmoil continued even after the plane landed. Jolie alleged that Pitt kept drinking poured beer on her and blocked her and the children from leaving the aircraft for 20 minutes. The aftermath triggered formal investigations. Both the Los Angeles County Department of Child and Family Services and the FBI launched inquiries into the abuse allegations. Agents interviewed family members and gathered evidence to determine what happened on the flight. Despite concerning testimonies, no criminal charges were filed. After reviewing the details, federal prosecutors and the FBI closed the investigation without pursuing criminal action, citing unspecified reasons. Redefining the legacy. Hollywood's once golden couple, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, are now trapped under the media microscope with their private cracks laid bare before the public. Against this backdrop, Shiloh's decision to drop her father's last name did not come as a complete surprise to those following the family's unraveling. It wasn't just a name change. It was a statement, a break from a past marked by legal battles, emotional wounds, and public scandal. While Pitt once symbolized fame and legacy for Shiloh, it had become a painful chapter. By legally adopting her mother's last name, Jolie, she chose the parent who had been her primary caregiver throughout that storm. The timing was deeply meaningful. Shiloh made this change on her 18th birthday, a milestone marking her coming of age. Even more poignant, it happened on Memorial Day, adding a layer of closure and honoring the story that shaped who she is. For Brad Pitt, the aftermath of the 2016 incident was not just public scrutiny, but a painful process of repairing his image. He has been candid about his struggles with alcohol, admitting that despite giving up many things when he became a father, drinking remained a challenge. It was only after those events that he found sobriety. In interviews, Brad reflected on how sobriety brought raw emotions to the surface, stripping away denial and driving personal growth. He described the process as both bitter and necessary. However, even as he found peace in his personal recovery, the battle with his ex-wife continued. Though their marriage officially ended in 2019, the custody fight still goes on. A California appeals court later disqualified a private judge overseeing the case due to a conflict of interest, sparking new tensions and prolonging the legal battle. What followed was a maze of shifting rulings and evolving custody arrangements. In December 2016, 3 months after Jolie filed for divorce, a temporary custody agreement granted her primary physical custody of all 6 children. Brad's time with his children was initially limited to weekly therapy sessions supervised and attended by Jolie. However, over time, things began to change. Brad pushed to take a more active role in his children's lives, and once the children reached 28, he moved past the stage of supervised visits. Eventually, he was allowed unrestricted phone calls and text messages, a notable step forward. Then, on May 20th to 21st, Judge John Outer Kirk granted Brad joint custody of the children, a hopeful moment, suggesting the tide might be turning. But the celebration was short-lived. Within 3 months, Jolie's legal team uncovered a potential conflict of interest involving Judge Outer Kirk. The ruling was overturned, and the custody saga spiraled back into legal chaos. The long battle. The fallout between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie went far beyond their personal relationship, reaching the heart of their shared assets. At the center of it all stood Chateau Miraval, a stunning estate located in the Provence region of southern France. More than just a luxury property, it held deep emotional significance. It was the site of their intimate 2014 wedding, witnessed only by their 6 children. But what was once a symbol of unity quickly became the battleground of a bitter new war. In the years following their separation, Pitt filed a lawsuit against Jolie in a Luxembourg court, accusing her of intentionally trying to sell her stake in the property without his consent. According to Pitt, this action violated a formal agreement they both signed, which required either party wanting to sell to first offer their share to the other before selling to outsiders. The lawsuit painted a picture of deception. Pitt accused Jolie of deliberately delaying financial approvals and stalling management renewals to sabotage operations. However, the conflict was more complex than it appeared. Chateau Miraval wasn't just a home, it was also a business venture run through a holding company. Pitt originally owned 60% and Jolie 40%. Before their split, he transferred 10% of his shares to her, making them equal shareholders. Together, they built Miraval into a prestigious brand, globally known for its award-winning rosé wine. Jolie's alleged attempt to sell her stake without consent was seen by Pitt's team as a calculated move to cut him out and potentially damage the company's reputation. This wasn't just about land or money, it was about legacy control and dismantling an empire they once dreamed of building together. In 2024, the legal battle reached a turning point when a California judge ruled in Pitt's favor. The court found that Jolie had breached their agreement by trying to sell her shares without approval. For Pitt, it was a rare victory, a chance to protect what remained of their shared dream. It's hard to believe the same two people once spoke of each other with such admiration. Jolie's alleged attempt to sell her stake without consent was seen by Pitt's team as a calculated move to cut him out and potentially damage the company's reputation. This wasn't just about land or money, it was about legacy control and dismantling an empire they once dreamed of building together. In 2024, the legal battle reached a turning point when a California judge ruled in Pitt's favor. The court found that Jolie had breached their agreement by trying to sell her shares without approval. For Pitt, it was a rare victory, a chance to protect what remained of their shared dream. It's hard to believe the same two people once spoke of each other with such admiration. The private jet incident turned into a public scandal, transforming Angelina from a fairy tale into a courtroom saga. As fans followed every twist and turn, Shiloh and her siblings continue to live with those scars. They became tabloid headlines, and for some, a burden. Whether the two youngest children will one day follow their siblings and drop the Pitt name remains uncertain. Only time will tell. The daughters follow suit. It's not just Maddox slamming the door on Brad Pitt, his sisters are walking through it too. After years of tension and emotional distance, it seems each of Brad's children is choosing sides, and it's not his. First up is Zahara Marley Jolie, who made a quiet yet powerful statement in 2023 during a sorority induction ceremony that went viral online. In the video, she confidently introduced herself with style and without any trace of her father's last name. "My name is Zahara Marley Jolie," she proudly declared, flipping her hair and performing the signature steps of her new sisterhood. "I'm from the Golden State, the city of Angels, Los Angeles, California. I'm number 7 in this line. The message was loud and clear. Brad Pitt was no longer part of the story. No more Pitt. Next came Vivian Jolie Brad, and Angelina's youngest daughter. In 2024, she made a subtle yet meaningful move. While working on the Broadway musical The Outsiders, co-produced by her mother Vivian, appeared in the official playbill not as Vivian Jolie-Pitt, but simply as Vivian Jolie. She was only 15, but her choice echoed the footsteps of her older siblings. Another child, another Pitt missing. Brad once proudly fathered 6 children united under one famous last name. Now, as each child steps into adulthood, that name is quietly being dropped one by one, inside the Jolie-Pitt legacy. Before we dive into the recent revelations that have everyone talking and, yes, confirming long-held suspicions, it's important to look back at the journey of the Pitt family and the key milestones that shaped their story. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, the power couple who once defined Hollywood royalty, met in 2003 while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Despite the personal turmoil surrounding them, Jolie, as a single mother, and Brad, still married to Jennifer Aniston, their connection was immediate and undeniable. In 2007, Jolie told Vogue that their relationship began more as a partnership than a whirlwind romance. They found joy in working together, growing from collaborators into lifelong partners. Their love story defied all Hollywood expectations, blossoming into a unique and powerful bond. Soon after, their home became a haven for a family of 6 each, with a distinct background and journey. Maddox from Cambodia, Pax Thien from Vietnam, Zahara, Marley from Ethiopia, their first biological child, Shiloh Neville, born in 2006, and the twins Knox Leon and Vivian Marceline, born in 2008. By 2005, Brad and Jennifer finalized their divorce. This was the turning point that led Brad to embrace fatherhood alongside Angelina. Their journey into parenthood officially began when Angelina adopted Maddox in 2002. In 2005, they welcomed Zahara into the family, and soon after, Brad legally adopted both children. The arrival of Shiloh brought immense joy. Pax joined the family in 2007, followed by the birth of the twins in 2008, completing their circle of love and diversity. Angelina often expressed that her multicultural family deeply enriched their lives. She frequently emphasized the warmth and strength their home embodied despite living under Hollywood's bright spotlight. Even the name Shiloh, meaning peace, symbolized the calm they longed for in their growing household. As the family expanded, so did their bond. In January 2006, a Los Angeles judge approved the name changes for Maddox and Zahara, officially recognizing them as Jolie-Pitt. This was a significant moment representing the couple's unity, blending adoption and biology into one seamless family. Despite the challenges of raising 6 children under intense scrutiny, Brad and Angelina embraced their roles as parents wholeheartedly. In a candid interview with Vogue on September 20th, 2023, Angelina praised her children as her greatest source of strength and purpose in overcoming personal hardships. So what changed? What led to Shiloh being excluded from Brad's massive fortune? Why her of all the children? Let's find out, because the answers reveal more than you might expect. Meet the Jolie-Pitt kids. To truly understand Shiloh's story, we need to look at the world she was born into, a world shaped by resilience, transformation, and a very public legacy. Maddox, China. Jolie-Pitt, the eldest sibling, was born in 2001 in Cambodia and spent his early years in an orphanage. Those early experiences forged in him a rare blend of empathy and inner strength. From a young age, he was drawn to global issues and filmmaking. Eventually, he took on a significant role as executive producer on his mother's film about the Cambodian genocide, contributing both emotionally and artistically to a story that mirrored his roots. Zahara Marley Jolie-Pitt, born in Ethiopia in 2005, joined the family after Angelina discovered she was in urgent need of care at an orphanage. Over the years, Zahara has grown into a poised young woman with a strong social conscience and a passion for philanthropy. She even launched her own jewelry line, the Zahara Collection. In November 2023, she joined the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority at Spelman College, a deliberate step reflecting her commitment to service, sisterhood, and identity. Then there's Shiloh novel Jolie-Pitt, born in 2006, the first biological child of Brad and Angelina. Born in Namibia, under the watchful eyes of the world, Shiloh has always stood out, not just because she's in the spotlight, but because of her strong sense of identity and deep emotional connection with her mother. From a young age, she accompanied Angelina on humanitarian missions, not as a photo opportunity, but as an engaged, active participant fully aware of the causes they were championing together. Pax Jolie-Pitt, adopted from Vietnam in 2007, symbolizes personal transformation. From life in an orphanage to the freedom and support of the Jolie-Pitt family, Pax has quietly evolved into a private individual who has found his own rhythm outside the spotlight. His growth reflects not only the opportunities he was given, but also how he chose to embrace them. The youngest members of the family, twins, Knox Layan and Vivian Marceline, born in 2008, quickly captured public attention. Vivian, in particular, made an early mark in the entertainment world by appearing alongside Angelina in Maleficent. Her natural charm and ease on screen hinted at a raw talent, one she continues to explore as she now collaborates with her mother on the Broadway musical The Outsiders. A project that feels like a generational handoff within the family's artistic legacy. Despite being one of the most famous families in the world, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have worked hard to give their children freedom, the freedom to explore, to question, and to develop their own identities. Their parenting philosophy centers on emotional honesty and individuality. While outsiders see privilege and fame inside their home, the focus has always been on giving each child space to grow without needing to fit any mold. And this brings us to Shiloh, not just the famous daughter, but a young woman shaped by love, contrast, and responsibility. Growing up in a home full of energy and complexity, with older siblings like Maddox and Zahara paving their own unique paths, Shiloh stepped into a dynamic family structure. Next came Pax, and finally the twins, adding new voices to the Jolie-Pitt symphony. Angelina, who once doubted motherhood due to her own tumultuous childhood, later shared with Time magazine that becoming a mother wasn't a difficult choice. It was the right one. The challenge, she said, wasn't loving her children, but making sure she was doing right by them. She never aimed for perfection. What she believed children needed most wasn't perfect parenting, it was truth. That meant allowing them to grow in their strengths, and especially in their vulnerabilities, to fall and get back up to become their own people even when it wasn't easy. For Angelina, parenting was always a two-way mirror. Her children shaped her just as much as she shaped them. If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, let me know with a 0. I truly appreciate your feedback. Shiloh's spark. From the very beginning, Angelina Jolie described Shiloh as a little gem, a child with a spark that couldn't be missed. Even in her earliest years, Shiloh's personality radiated something vibrant and unmistakably unique. Angelina often saw reflections of herself in her daughter, even joking about a mischievous streak that suggested Shiloh might be a bit rebellious. Brad was also captivated by her emerging character and openly expressed hope that each of his children, including Shiloh, would one day find their own voice and carve their own path in life. Shiloh's birth in Namibia in 2006 was more than just a family moment, it became a global headline. Local officials expressed joy and pride in welcoming the Jolie-Pitt baby. Under Namibian law, she was eligible for citizenship if her parents chose. Just 2 months after her birth, Shiloh's celebrity status was cemented when Madame Tussauds in New York unveiled a wax figure of her as an infant, nestled between her proud parents beside her crib. It wasn't just a tribute to fame. It was a symbol of love, pride, and a new chapter in the Jolie-Pitt legacy. But even as the world rushed to label her a celebrity baby, Shiloh began quietly carving out her own identity. Her life has undoubtedly been shaped by privilege, but it has also been intertwined with more universal themes. Growing up discovering herself and finding her place within a very public family navigating the complexities of childhood in the spotlight, Shiloh continued to show signs of a future that promised to be anything but ordinary. That promise first flickered in 2008 when baby Shiloh made her unofficial Hollywood debut alongside her father in the Oscar-winning film The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It was a fleeting moment on screen, but caught attention nonetheless. Industry insiders and audiences alike took notice, but as she grew older, it became clear that Shiloh wasn't entirely comfortable living in the cinematic spotlight her parents had long held. When Angelina's Maleficent was in production, Shiloh was initially offered the role of young Aurora. But instead of taking the dreamy fairy tale role, Shiloh laughed and declined, saying she'd rather play a creature with horns. Ultimately, that role went to her younger sister Vivian, while Shiloh later lent her voice to the character Shui in Kung Fu Panda 3 in 2016. For Brad and Angelina, that decision wasn't a disappointment, it was a success. Both parents made it clear they never wanted to confine their children to acting nor idolize the entertainment industry. Angelina, in particular, believed in letting her kids explore every path available to them, especially those unrelated to red carpets or box office hits. Shiloh's own path. In recent years, Shiloh Jolie-Pitt has quietly stepped into her own spotlight not as the daughter of Hollywood royalty, but as a rising young style icon with a distinct voice and vision. Drawing clear inspiration from her mother's bold fashion sense, Shiloh made headlines in 2021 at the London premiere of Eternals, where she stunned in a striking black and white Dior dress. That style wasn't just a nod to elegance. It was a subtle echo of Angelina's signature fashion, reimagined through Shiloh's youthful lens. Angelina has been openly supportive of Shiloh's choices, often emphasizing the importance of allowing children the freedom to explore and express their identity through clothing, creativity, and confidence. Though Shiloh has never spoken publicly about it, she has been spotted multiple times entering and exiting a well-known dance studio in Los Angeles, hinting at a deepening passion for movement and rhythm. What's especially telling is Brad Pitt's own remark about dancing. He admits he's never been particularly skilled, but he finds real joy in it. That small detail offers a glimpse into how something as simple as dancing has begun to play an increasingly important role in their lives, perhaps even as a quiet personal connection between father and daughter. Over time, Shiloh has become a familiar presence on the red carpet, not as a reluctant tag-along, but as someone confidently standing beside her parents at some of their biggest premieres. From Unbroken and Dumbo to First They Killed My Father, Maleficent and again, Eternals. Shiloh walked the red carpet with grace and poise. One of the most touching moments came in 2014 at the premiere of Unbroken. While Angelina was battling illness, Shiloh and her siblings stood alongside her, showcasing the family's strength and unity. It wasn't just another glamorous night in Hollywood. It was a moment of resilience, solidarity, and love. But Shiloh's story isn't confined to designer gowns and camera flashes. Beyond the glitter of premieres, she has accompanied her parents on global missions, humanitarian journeys that have shaped her far more deeply than any spotlight ever could. In 2018, Shiloh accompanied her family to the Zaatari refugee camp in Jordan, where she offered not only help, but genuine connection and compassion. These trips took her to Cambodia, Bosnia, Ethiopia, and beyond experiences Angelina described as profoundly transformative for the entire family. Even at a young age, Shiloh showed a sincere commitment to making a difference. Whether through humanitarian work, cultural exploration, or simply learning to listen and engage with communities in need, her actions reflect a growing empathy that far exceeds her years. Beneath the glamour, fashion, and legacy lies a heart driven by compassion and a future that looks increasingly purposeful. The story of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's divorce has kept the world watching every twist and turn and unraveling far longer than their actual marriage. Now, as their 6 children grow weary of the never-ending legal battle, they are reportedly urging both parents to end the chaos and finally move on. It all began in 2016. Just 2 years after their glamorous wedding, when Angelina shocked the public by filing for divorce. Citing irreconcilable differences, her move sparked a legal storm centered around custody of their children. Brad pushed for joint physical and legal custody, triggering a drawn-out and intense courtroom battle that lasted for years. Though Angelina initiated the divorce, she has been accused of dragging out the proceedings, with some insiders suggesting she was driven by resentment and a desire for revenge over the breakup. Meanwhile, Brad, now sober-focused and clear-headed, has tried to hold his ground, resisting Angelina's demands while calling for closure. The core issue from the start remained custody, but as many of the children have grown and begun making their own choices, the dynamic has shifted. Most are reportedly supporting their father and urging their mother to let go of the past and find peace. It seems Angelina is torn between the need for closure and unresolved bitterness toward Brad. While Brad has long signaled his willingness to end this battle, both sides have spent enormous amounts on legal fees. Many observers have called the entire ordeal absurd. A temporary custody agreement was reached in late September, requiring both parties to participate in family counseling. Brad agreed to drug and alcohol testing, demonstrating his cooperation and readiness to move forward. One month later, a judge approved an arrangement granting Angelina physical custody, while Brad was allowed supervised visits based on a family therapist's discretion. However, even this didn't resolve the conflict. Brad continued pushing for more time with the children while the legal battle grew increasingly complex. Beyond the emotional toll, the prolonged litigation shattered the family's peace. The children made one thing clear: they want an end to the chaos. They want their parents to find common ground, close this painful chapter, and give them the stability they deserve. But just as the public thought the storm might settle, a new wave hit. In a shocking legal revelation, Angelina made explosive allegations amid the ongoing court proceedings. The accusations stunned even the most jaded observers. At the center of it all was Brad Pitt's estimated $300 million fortune, which only deepened the rift between the former spouses. In newly filed court documents, Angelina described a disturbing incident aboard the 2016 private flight. She accused Brad of grabbing her by the head, shaking her violently, and even choking one of their children. The details didn't stop there. According to Jolie, Brad also poured beer on her and, more alarmingly, spilled both beer and red wine on their children during the same flight. The shocking nature of these allegations sent waves through the media, peeling back the carefully constructed image of their glamorous past relationship to reveal something much darker. Brad Pitt responded not with public anger but with introspection. He acknowledged that he is still on a personal journey of growth and facing ongoing inner conflicts. Now the world is left grappling with two conflicting images of the same man, the admired actor known for his talent, and the complex figure entangled in one of the most brutal celebrity divorces in recent memory. We truly appreciate you sticking with us and watching this video. Leave a 2 in the comments to let me know you're still here with us. You are Shiloh's strength. Amid the chaos of courtrooms and headlines, one figure has quietly emerged as a symbol of resilience and hope: Shiloh Jolie-Pitt. Despite the storms surrounding her family, she has maintained a strong bond with her father since childhood. But recently, in a quiet yet meaningful move, Shiloh removed her father's last name from her social media profiles. That subtle act speaks volumes. It not only reflects the emotional burden of her parents' legal battle, but also the uncertainty hanging over the future of their fractured family. Shiloh's journey of self-discovery has been anything but ordinary. As the daughter of two iconic Hollywood stars, she grew up in a world with almost no room for privacy. Yet she has always carved out space to be herself. By the age of 14, she had quietly become an inspiration to the LGBTQ+ community, challenging stereotypes and embracing her authentic self. In a 2008 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Brad Pitt revealed that young Shiloh liked to be called John or Peter in honor of the character Peter Pan. It wasn't just a passing phase, it was an early and clear sign of self-awareness, a child asking the world to see them as they felt inside. By age 20, Angelina opened up to Vanity Fair, sharing that since the age of 3, Shiloh had expressed a strong desire to be a boy. She preferred boyish clothes, short haircuts, and felt more aligned with her brothers than her sisters. Angelina, always fiercely protective of her children's individuality, has wholeheartedly supported Shiloh's journey. She has spoken openly about the importance of nurturing identity, rather than imposing labels, turning Shiloh into a quiet role model for countless young people navigating the same questions around gender and self. Her name holds more meaning than most realize. In another interview with Vanity Fair, Angelina revealed that Shiloh is a name deeply significant to both her and Brad. Originally chosen for a child they lost during pregnancy, the name is tied to memories of filming in Georgia and was even used by Angelina as an alias while staying in hotels. It's not just a name, it's a legacy. In early 2020, Shiloh faced health challenges. While the details remain private, Angelina revealed in a Time article for International Women's Day that both Shiloh and her sister Zahara underwent surgery. Without disclosing specifics, she emphasized the importance of sharing their experiences not for attention, but to remind others of the strength and care needed to raise girls facing challenges. Despite the bitter custody battle between her parents, Shiloh has grown into an emotionally strong young woman. Currently, Angelina holds full custody while Brad retains visitation rights. However, their family remains entangled not only emotionally, but financially as well. Angelina's recent sale of her shares in the Chateau Miraval winery could shift the balance of ownership, adding another layer of complexity to the tangled legacy of their marriage. Amid it all, Shiloh has maintained remarkable composure. The infamous 2016 private jet incident, where Angelina accused Brad of assault and endangering their children, left lasting trauma especially for Shiloh. At just 16 years old, she and her siblings found themselves at the emotional epicenter of the turmoil. Witnessing their mother's distress during that harrowing flight left an indelible mark. Yet in 2024, Shiloh continues to rise. She shows a rare strength not born from privilege, but from the ability to survive and overcome it. Shiloh's rise. The story of Shiloh Jolie-Pitt resonates with many. From growing up in the shadow of her parents' painful divorce to quietly becoming a confident young adult with her own identity, Shiloh's journey is one of strength, resilience, and self-discovery. In 2024, the narrative began to shift. No longer solely focused on the drama between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, attention turned to their children, especially Shiloh, whose journey reflects what it truly means to rise above chaos. While Brad grappled with his past and fought for sobriety, and Angelina continued her work as a director and actress, Shiloh grew stronger quietly, steadily becoming a symbol of hope for a generation navigating complicated family dynamics. Her story reminds us all that young people can survive instability, grow through adversity, and shine on the other side. When Shiloh turned 17, what should have been a moment of shared celebration instead became another point of tension. Instead of a traditional birthday party, Angelina took Shiloh to Jamaica, an event reportedly leaving Brad feeling excluded. But while the adults clashed behind the scenes, Shiloh's passion took center stage. Her dance performances have captivated over 10,500 subscribers on an unofficial YouTube channel called Shiloh Jolie-Pitt Dance. Filmed at the renowned Millennium Dance Complex in Los Angeles, a hotspot for industry professionals and stars like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, her routines showcase her growing talent and dedication. Shiloh's dance routines burst with raw talent and infectious energy. Whether it's Rihanna, Dua Lipa, Bruno Mars, or Christina Aguilera, Shiloh commands the stage with bold choreography and unwavering confidence. Now preparing to turn 18 this coming May, Shiloh remains a part of the iconic Jolie-Pitt family alongside Maddox Zahara and the twins Knox and Vivian. Though her parents publicly separated in 2016 and divorced in 2019, the family bond endures. Both Angelina and Brad express pride in watching their children grow, develop, and find their own passions. For Shiloh, dance has become more than a hobby. It's her way of claiming her space, her rhythm, and her voice. Though the legal battle over the Chateau Miraval estate continues between her parents, Shiloh remains focused on movement, music, and momentum. The Hollywood red carpet may still call her name, but her true spotlight now shines on the dance floor where every spin and step is a form of liberation. At the Bullet Train premiere in Los Angeles, Brad couldn't hide his emotions. Watching Shiloh shine brought tears to his eyes, a father's awe, a deeply human moment. It's proof that Shiloh is no longer just part of a famous family. She is becoming a force in her own right. Because for Shiloh Jolie-Pitt, the stage is no longer lit just by flashbulbs. It's alive with rhythm, purpose, and the unmistakable beat of a rising star. What do you think about Shiloh's revelation? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos.